2022 from the Anaheim Convention Center.
Wow, guys, hi. We missed you guys. How are you doing? Did you miss us?
Oh, we definitely missed you. Oh, it's been 3 long years, hasn't it, y'all? Oh, I love you too. In case you forgot or you don't know, I'm Anthony Carboni.
And I'm Andy Gutierrez.
And we are so excited to be back at Star Wars Celebration again. 3 years, man.
Wow, I mean, but it feels like coming home.
Yeah,
Oh,
absolutely.
so good. Anthony, you know what would be a really great way to kick this off, though?
What?
Let's roll some brand new.
Oh, you loved him in Rogue One. Now he's back to show you how it all started. This is your first look at the new Disney Plus series, Andor. Check it out.
They're so proud of themselves, so fat and satisfied. They're everywhere. They're watching me now.
Soon enough, these days will end. There will be no rules going forward.
People are standing up. That's what a reckoning sounds like.
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
How amazing does that look?
Oh my God, it looks so good. I'm so excited.
I'm a sucker for Mon Mothma, man.
I'm a sucker for Cassian.
It looks so good.
Oh, I can't wait for Andor.
Joe, like that?
So good. And on top of that, we have your very first look at the brand new series poster. Check it out. I lied. That's the only time I'm gonna lie to you guys this weekend. I promise.
It's that new. It's that new. There's some kid running. They're just handing it off to each other, Rogue One style.
Yeah, it's on a floppy disk,
It's
right?
gonna get here.
Yeah.
It's gonna get here. But just so you all know, Andor is coming to Disney Plus on August 31st with a 2-episode premiere.
But that's not the only new teaser we've got for you guys. Oh no. As we all know, Lucasfilm isn't just Star Wars. And beginning later this year, we're expanding into a world beyond a galaxy far, far away with a return to another epic world created by George Lucas. This is your first look at the Disney Plus sequel series to the beloved 1988 film, Willow.
There is a story of a child destined to be an empress, and the unlikely hero who would protect her.
There is a balance between all things. Light and shadow. Good and evil. When that balance is upset, the universe corrects.
The world needs you again. It needs your magic.
Into the unknown. That's where we must go.
I have waited 34 years!
I mean, you're a very excitable young man, but like,
No,
getting excited about
this is-
Willow is like next level.
This is it. Give me that sweet, sweet Ufgood magic. We got people turning into birds. We are petting sea monsters. It's all happening. It's finally official. Willow is coming to Disney Plus on November 30th.
Oh man. That's gonna be a really fun show. I can't wait. But do you know what else I'm excited for?
The brand new series we announced coming from executive producers John Watts, Christopher Ford, Jon Favreau, and Dave Filoni?
Oh, you mean Skeleton Crew, starring Jude Law? Coming to Disney Plus? I am beyond hyped for that. 2023 can't come fast enough.
We also have our first look at concept art of everyone's favorite archaeologist, Indiana Jones, back in action for the 5th time.
Oh, you know it. Let's see it.
Yes! Oh, I'm getting that pit is full of snakes. I'm getting only the penitent man shall pass.
I mean, hat. Give
I'm
me the
getting hat.
Give me the whip.
This is amazing. I love
Oh, it's beautiful.
just in a single piece of art, I love how much they have captured the entire mood and style and everything that I think of when I think of Indiana Jones. This is going to be amazing. Now that is how you start a celebration.
So good. So much to look forward to.
I'm already tired.
Okay, bye. No, we couldn't.
Oh, in 1988, 2 of our next 3 guests took us to the fantastical world of Nockmaar, where we met the sorcerer Willow Ufgood and the warrior Sorsha, who took on the evil Bavmorda in Willow. The other watched it a bunch as a kid. Now all 3 are back with a brand new series coming to Disney Plus. Please welcome to the stage Warwick Davis, Joanne Whaling, and executive producer and writer John Kasdan.
Wow.
I am overwhelmed. My heart is 3 sizes too big from that trailer. I have waited 34 years. How does it feel to be back?
It's incredible. I mean, it's thanks to many people in this room, apart from John, that we're here doing this, because they're the fans who have kept this alive all these years.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes, Joanne, how's it feeling for you?
Well, I just can't believe it. It's so, I never thought I would ever see this day. I heard rumblings over the years and just nothing ever came of it. And I thought, oh, well, maybe it would kind of be a shame to have to go back. But And then when this came up, and the scripts are so good, and it's unbelievable. I'm like, yes, please. Like, I'm so thrilled to be here. It's unbelievable.
And, you know, speaking of these scripts and coming back, John, I know this is something that you have been wanting to do for so long.
Absolutely. And I mean, I was texting you last night about this. I feel like we were on a chat. I was wandering around downtown Disney, and Anthony was like commenting on my Instagram post. I was like, have you seen the trailer yet? He's like, not yet. But I've been waiting 34 years for it.
Well, I feel like even when we were talking about Solo, you and I got into a discussion about
Absolutely.
Willow, because this thing is such a cult classic. People are so in love with this. This is one of the films, my sister and I, we wore out videotapes. Videotapes are what movies
Absolutely.
would come on
Used to
before
come
the
on.
internet. What did it take to kind of get this to come
Well,
back? How did
I'll
it
tell
happen?
you a funny story about that, which is that the first time we were on the Solo set, I met Warwick. I wanted to be introduced. I knew he was there. We were in the Canary Islands. I went up to him. I said, Warwick, I'm going to convince them to do a Willow series. It's going to be great. He looked at me like, yeah, I've been talking about this for years. He's like, great. We're both going to do it. Fantastic. I turned. I walked away. I'm like, I'm not going to be able to convince anyone to do that. And then...
And I feel like you turned
And I'm
around
like,
Warwick
now I'm
and
gonna
you
have
were
to
like,
tell
"I've heard
Warwick
it."
that like I couldn't do it. And then Ron Howard came and worked with us on Solo, and it was like everything came together. Ron, Warwick, myself, we pushed it through, and before we knew it, we were on set. I was calling Joanne saying like, you're coming back. We're making a true sequel. And one of the fun things about this, you know, I'm as big a Star Wars fan as anyone in the world. I'm excited for Andor. I'm excited for all these things. But with Willow, we got the opportunity to truly make a sequel and to see what happens to these characters, where those adventures go, what threats are still out there in the world from the movie, and who's going to have to face them and answer the question, what happened to Elora Danan?
Yes.
And John did such a great job with the scripts. I mean, you know, the original movie, think about it, it's very funny, a lot of comedy, and John brought all that to the series as well. So it's not only magical and adventurous, but it's funny as well.
Yeah. What do you think it was about the original Willow that people really just loved and latched onto? Because you said it was funny. I remember some dark moments really stuck with me as a kid, but like in a good way. What do you think it is about Willow that people love?
I think it was the charming lead actor.
Okay. All right. Joanne, what do you think it was
Well,
about
that's what
Willow
I
that people love?
Well, I mean, think of the movie. There were so many great characters. There was somebody everyone could identify with in there. It was a great adventure as well. And we all want a bit of escapism, which is exactly what Willow offered.
Yeah, absolutely. I 100% agree. Joanne, what was it about the original Willow that you loved?
I don't know. I don't think you can ever second guess these things. I mean, except to say that it's kind of a classic. You know, if you look at like Grimm's fairy tales and all the old folk tales, it has all the same elements, all the archetypes, the good and evil, the goodness that prevails, the families, the values, and it has all those ingredients that are in all those folk tales worldwide, and it's funny, and it was epic, and and then so who knows? I mean, people really
And Mad Mardigan.
And Mad Mardigan.
I mean, we can't say enough about Mad Mardigan, and he's a huge part of this story and this series, and we knew we wanted to. Val has been in communication with Joanne and I, and Mad Mardigan is a character in the story, and while we didn't get to shoot with him on season 1, we've made him a major figure in the story. And Joanne, I think, were you talking to him today?
Yeah, no, last night. I was sick because I was letting him know that I was coming today, and I said, I think there's going to be like fans there who love Willow and things, and they know they're going to want to hear something from you. And he was just so touched that there's such love for this project and his character, Mad Mardigan, and he just would be here if he could, but he can't make it today.
Let's show some celebration love for Val Kilmer.
Let's hear it for Val Kilmer. And we do promise there is only one Mad Mardigan in the universe, and it is Val Kilmer.
Wonderful. I love to hear it. You know, talking about these classic characters, let's talk about how they've changed, right? Like, I definitely saw a gravity and a seriousness in Willow Ufgood that we probably did not see in that original.
No, it's nice. I mean, I'm a lot older now, and I certainly feel it. So it's nice to go back and visit the character again. Now I'm older and wiser myself. And John has written him in such a way now he's older. There's a lot of weight on his shoulders in this series, a lot of responsibility, and he doesn't really carry it well. He's still reluctant, basically, to be doing this.
Yeah.
So for me, there was a lot more kind of meat to the character. So it was a privilege to go back and do this again. It really was.
I love this as, you know, Willow in the first one was being escorted by these very serious adventurers that understood the world. And now to see Willow kind of ushering what looks like a band of younger adventurers through this same world is really wonderful to see.
Yeah, and believe me, I mean, when you're an actor of my age now, having all these young actors come in and work with you makes you feel a lot older. Trying to keep up with them, I mean, just the banter on set. I was like, guys, just slow down a minute. I'm trying to focus here. Honestly. I was just speaking with Harrison Ford just now, and...
You've heard of him? You've heard of Harrison Ford? Okay.
A good name drop, that, wasn't it? But, I mean, we were both kind of reflecting on the fact that we're a lot older, revisiting the same characters and how it feels. It feels good, and it's lovely when you get such a great response from the audience, because it makes all the effort you've made worthwhile.
It was so funny. Warwick and Harrison were talking backstage when we were doing our presentation, and I was like, excuse me, guys, I need to get a picture of the two of you. Because to see those two legends just standing there like, yeah, we're back. Yeah. It was pretty cool.
Just chilling in the back, just like, yeah, it's just us. It's not a big deal. No big deal. How did it feel for you, John, kind of coming in? I mean, the last few years for you, you've been walking around in this galaxy, in this Star Wars universe, and now you are sort of bringing life into another universe that George Lucas created. What was it like to sort of come back?
It's such a gift. You know, it's one that George loves. It's always been one of his favorite things, and he's always been determined to make more Willow. And when I heard that, and when I heard it from Kathy, I thought, this is an opportunity. No one's better than Warwick. No one is more of a movie star than Warwick. And I thought we had the pieces to make it happen.
Yeah.
And we put him with some annoying young kids that can bother him for a little while. Like, who wouldn't watch that? So we figured that out, and we found a great cast to sort of follow Warwick and keep up that idea that he is like a dad who has to care for a bunch of people who don't usually do what he tells them to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it. And you know, Warwick, you've been kind of navigating through this Lucasfilm universe for the last 40 years. Joanne, you're kind of stepping back in after a little bit. What does it feel like to kind of come back to this sort of film and this sort of like approach to filmmaking?
Well, I just had the best time doing this. And even coming here today, I was a bit kind of nervous. Like this morning, I was thinking, oh my God, I don't know what it's going to be like. It's going to be so... But what's really, I was saying to Warwick, literally, before we came over to this building, that it's so incredible that this big thing happens that is actually about the fans, and that the fans actually do have power, and that their influence is hugely important. So, and that there's a place where that all happens, and they can... You know, and it's really nice for the actors to get to meet some fans, because unless you're doing a play in the theatre, you never would have that opportunity. So it's really nice to, even though it's a big, scary thing, when you're thinking about it as an actor, thinking, oh my God, I've got to go and do a press thing, it's actually been an absolute pleasure.
These people are absolute sweethearts, and I can tell you that they are huge fans of Willow, and that we are so excited to see you all back and to see this series happen. Thank you so much, the three of you, for coming by, and thank you. Literally, I've been waiting for 34 years. Thank you for coming back and making more Willow. Let's take one more look at this Willow trailer. It is so wonderful. We have more from Star Wars Celebration Live coming up after.
For generations of fans, Willow has been a part of their childhoods. Now, for a whole new generation of actors are headed to a fantastical world of Willow to entertain and inspire people all over the world. Here from the new Willow series are Ruby Cruz, Ellie Bamber, and someone you Star Wars fans might know as Enfys Nest, Erin Kellyman. Welcome to Celebration, ladies. We're gonna have to get together for... We're gonna have to do like a Willowbration next year. Same place, same time. Erin, you're no stranger to Star Wars Celebration, but last time you were here, you're here for Solo. You know, what's it like coming back for a different role, a different series, and a whole different world?
It's incredible. The welcome is so overwhelming, as it was before. It's incredible. The vibe at Star Wars Celebration is just the best. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like getting a big hug. Yeah. And now you're jumping from one Lucasfilm title to another. Tell me what that transition was like for you and coming back to Lucasfilm.
It was overwhelming. I think it's always kind of strange to be doing these kind of big roles, but it's incredible. It's incredible. I feel so blessed.
And now you guys were probably not even born yet when Willow came out, but you're experts now. Can you tell me about what your experience was like with Willow before you created this show?
I'd never seen Willow before I auditioned, but then I watched it and I immediately fell in love with it. I was watching it during the daytime as well, so I had to kind of like try and board up my windows so that no light was coming through. But yeah, I just totally fell in love with it and Warwick's performance in that and the message of hope.
How about you?
I had a similar experience. I hadn't seen it before now, but at this point I feel like I've seen it like 10 times. So I did, though, once I'd gotten this role, I told my best friend Amelia, and she was like, I grew up watching this movie with my dad. This is like a movie that I didn't even remember existed that now is like blossomed in my mind and bringing back so many memories. So that was really special to me.
No pressure, right? I mean, I feel like there is a good deal of pressure coming into a role like this. You know, what is it like being part of a story that's being picked up again after so many years?
I mean, I feel like it was so important to try to like uphold the legend that is Willow, but also bring some new contemporary twists and the topics we sort of like talk about are very current and very relatable to like so many different types of people, which is really cool. And about relationships that we have with other humans as well, and how important they are, and how through life we just have such meaningful experiences because of the people around us.
Exciting. So what can you tell us about your characters? We need all the spoilers. I need to know about their entire family history. Tell us everything.
I played Jade, Kit's best friend. Oh, sorry, I just ruined that. But I grew up in the castle, and I'm training to be a knight of Galadorn. Yeah.
And I'm as she mentioned, Kit.
Sorry.
I am a princess. I'm actually Sorsha and Mad Mardigan's daughter, which is really exciting. Yeah. I don't love my role as a princess, but I'm figuring it out.
Magic.
But magic is fun.
Yeah.
I play Dove, and I'm in love with Kit's brother, basically. And I'm a kitchen maid, and I just spend my time in the castle, and yeah, I make food for everyone.
That's super exciting. That's where I do.
Big chef. Loved all the cooking. It was great.
Chef representation.
Yeah.
Did you have to do any special research for your roles? Did you have to learn how to create fantasy food or magic?
I love cooking and I love food, so I think that I just continued on that vibe. And I was eating all of the prop food on set, and I got told off a few times.
sword fighting is something that we had to learn, which was just insane. Like, it's weird to go to work and then learn how to sword fight. It's like,
But you have some experience with that. I mean, Emphasis Nest was a pretty physical role.
yeah, it was. But that was different. It was like a whole staff. It was like, I don't know, sword fighting it was intense, but it was a lot of fun.
I can't wait to see it. Is there anything that you guys want to say to the fans before they see Willow?
You're gonna be blown away.
It's true. Yeah. I hope you enjoyed it as much as we enjoyed it making it.
We had such a great time shooting.
Oh, it looks fantastic. We can't wait to see it. Thank you guys so much for coming and enjoy your first celebration. Welcome back.
Thank you.
Everybody looks amazing.
And stick around, guys. We've got more surprise guest interviews coming up in a few minutes. You really don't want to miss them here at Star Wars Celebration Live.
One day you're directing a voice actor in the role of a Mandalorian. The next, you and that voice actor are teaming up to create an entire new galaxy of stories for Star Wars. They're the busiest people at Lucasfilm. You know them. You love them. Give it up for Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni! That just happened. I think you guys are a little excited, huh? All right. Thank you guys for your excitement. I feel like you should bow.
Well, that's exciting.
That was so cool. Well, I told you guys it was going to be good, and I don't like to fib, so here we go.
The cage.
Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining me. It is an absolute pleasure to have you here.
Thank you, thank you.
Now, I have to ask, did you expect The Mandalorian to become such a global phenomenon?
Honestly, I was just happy to get to make Star Wars, And Dave and I were working on it. It was a small project at the time because there were movies happening and there was a lot going on in Star Wars. And we were small and Disney Plus hadn't even launched yet. So we had no idea it would become such a big cultural presence, especially the characters, especially Mandalorian and Baby Yoda are everywhere. So I think we were really benefited from iconic characters, but I think also people really, it felt like people really connected with those characters at a time when, a lot of us were locked inside, we didn't have a lot to do, theaters were closed, and so these little stories started popping up in people's homes, and thank you to everybody here for signing up this is why we get to do what we love to do. So thank all of you.
Now, in this era of spoilers and leaks, how do you keep exciting reveals like, I don't know, Grogu, the return of Luke Skywalker? How do you keep those moments secret up until the moment they air?
It's really, really difficult. We don't even tell most everybody on set what's going on all the time. And that's not always as intentional. We come up with little code names and things. I think we think of how we would have felt deceived as fans ourselves and try to think like that. And smart a fox by being a fox, right?
It's like trying to wrap Christmas presents with everybody running around the house. So
and then we forget sometimes that people coming in, like Rosario didn't even know that she was in a scene with Luke because we kept calling him Plo Koon. which...
That was his nickname.
When we made that the code, remember we thought, well, that makes sense because people think that I would bring him back because people know I like that character. But, you know, and I like... But we didn't.
We even have, you could see some of the artwork, the production art. We wouldn't even have them draw Luke Skywalker in. We had them draw that
We had these
character.
awesome paintings of Plo Koon. And I'm like, I only get to see this. No one else got to see this. We thought of putting them in, though, at one point.
We even had a CGI head from that character so that when you saw the dailies or the editing room, it looked like that was the characters. We actually paid for visual effects that we didn't use just to fool people who are working on the show.
I think that was well worth it. And there was a lot of surprise. Also, speaking of return characters, the hat is back.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, I'm shooting now, so I wear this more when I'm.
Yeah, and just so you all know, Dave is actually just began the Ahsoka series. He's directing. So they're filming right now, and he drove all the way here, and as soon as he gets off stage here, I think you have one more panel, and then you go all the way back to Manhattan Beach to film.
I gotta be there.
We couldn't miss this.
It's the most fun every day. I can't even tell you.
I will say, seeing the chair and the hat on it the other day
cool.
was a very exciting moment. Now, if you had to pick, what is your favorite part about making Star Wars? Besides the fact that you're actually making Star Wars.
Yeah, that's hard. I don't know.
The answer's in the question.
I know.
I mean, it was, you know, I was an usher in a movie theater when Return of the Jedi was in theaters, and I was there watching from the audience. And it's always something I loved and always worked its way into like little mentions and other things I've written or done. But just for all the stars to align that I would be able to write a story and that we would have a medium to do it in, and to have Kathy and everybody at Lucasfilm be open to me bringing an idea to them. And then also the big part is me and Dave getting to know each other. From all the way back at Skywalker Ranch when I was mixing Iron Man, he was making Clone Wars. And I was the first person not at Lucasfilm to see Clone Wars.
Yeah, that's right.
And I said, if you ever need an extra voice role, and that's how I ended up being a Mandalorian.
Yeah. I think the way to explain it for me is like, I sit down at a computer and I write a story. I write a moment. And I talk to John. I say, I think Ahsoka could know this kid's name because she would be able to speak somehow with him that only a Jedi could intuit. And then you write that scene, and there's trees and a creek, and Mando's there, and Grogu's there, and Ahsoka's there. And then you go over the costumes in great detail, and you talk about fabrics. You build this thing over several months leading up to a moment where you walk through the doors of a stage, and there's the forest, and there's the child, and there's Ahsoka, and she kneels down, and it's awesome. And I love it. And it's awesome. And it never stops being that awesome. And it's the whole crew, it's everybody involved. It's not just one person. Because we know the only person it really was George. And he created this, and we get to play in it. And that is like, I think the spirit of everything we should be doing is, you know, he's hopefully looking over all this and still guiding it because he left us such a great galaxy to play in, and that's how I feel about it. So
it's a beautiful sandbox. Now, aside from your cameo, were there any other Filoni things that you've snuck into The Mandalorian like you did with Rebels and the Space Wolves?
Well, it's not really sneaking it in. The wolves were like right there, right? So I wasn't really snuck in. He thought it'd be really good for me to get on camera. I debated that because I'm like, I don't think the quality of the show goes up if I'm an X-Wing pilot. I think the quality of the show goes down. I told him I'd do it if Rick and Deb did it. So then was the three of us, and I was joking, but he didn't think I was joking, and he held me to it. And now there are action figures that he makes me sign. He bought a whole case.
I got a whole
I'm like,
case
what
of
are
it.
you doing with that? He's like, I want you to sign it. This is for my future. I'm like, you don't even, what are you talking about?
Is that your
They've gone
nest
up
egg?
in value. Yeah. You think NFTs are good.
This is the
Filoni
definition,
figures.
the definition of a peg warmer. I'm sorry, I just don't see it that way. But no, I mean, there's all kinds of little things here and there. There's one thing I do in particular that I don't think anyone will ever see, but a lot of my influence comes from obviously George, and then George's mentor is Akira Kurosawa. And so I've done a lot of study of that and talking with George about it. So I have a really small Akira Kurosawa figure, and he is in every episode I've directed somewhere in the set. And so I hide him in there because, and when we shoot an episode I'm directing, he's always right by the monitors to remind me of a lot of his principles of filmmaking that he gave to George. So he's kind of like another kind of influence on what I'm doing. But he's in there, but it'd be very hard to see him. And there are little Pittsburgh homages because I love my hometown. So you'll see little golden triangles here and there, and but the Penguins got eliminated, so it's kind of a bummer of a time. This is really helping lift
Listen,
me
half
up.
this audience is gonna go home and rewatch everything and look for that.
That's okay, but by the way, that works for us because it helps that Disney Plus thing, and we get to make more shows. So go rewatch it all you want. I'm all for that.
Now, how has your working dynamic changed since the early days of developing season 1?
Our dynamic.
Well, our dynamic hasn't changed much. It's just now we have so much more to do. So I was very spoiled in the beginning by having Dave. Anytime I wrote a scene or a half of a script or a script, I could send it to him. He'd call me right back. We'd talk about it. And now, because of the success of Star Wars on Disney Plus, Dave's now doing the Ahsoka show, and so now it's a sort of the reverse where he's writing stuff, sending it to me, I'm commenting on that. So it's a really interesting flip on it because now I'm starting to see the vision that he's come up with, not just over the last, over just these last few months, but for a decade as he's been dealing with these characters. So to see the fruition of those characters and to be able to talk to Dave, and now we have a shorthand because when he started off, he came out of animation. Now he's a very experienced live action director. And so now it's like director, writers, producers talking together about the best way to tell a story that's so personal to Dave.
Yeah.
I cannot put into words what an exciting moment this is for me as a human. And I just want to thank you both so much for taking time out of your...
Can I invite the people here to something? We just announced in the panel that there's something called the Mandalorian Experience. And we brought a lot of props and set pieces and droids down here, and it's free, and you could go to the Fairview Portals Instagram or the Star Wars Celebration app. If you're here, sorry people at home, but if you're here, you could go on down and check out all of our sets and costumes and everything. It's available to you.
Go do the thing. Again, thank you guys so much for taking time out of your busy schedules to come and spend time with me. And I will say thank you again for all that you and the various cast and crew have done for Star Wars. Stick around, we've got lots more from Anaheim today here on Star Wars Celebration Live, and we'll be...
For years, she's been the voice of a fan favorite Mandalorian, and now she's playing the live action version of the character she originated, Bo-Katan. And we learned this morning, heck yeah, that she is returning for the 3rd season of The Mandalorian. Please welcome Katie Sackhoff. Where my Mando's at, guys?
I accidentally brought my phone here, so I'm sorry. Just hide it there.
So, Katie, welcome to Celebration. Welcome back to Star Wars. I mean, now that you've brought Bo-Katan to life in animation and in live action, I mean, this character has had such an amazing journey. Can you tell me what it was like in those initial meetings when you learned that you were going to be taking this animated character and bringing her to life?
Absolutely. I mean, come on, lucky girl, right? I know. It just doesn't happen. I remember Celebration 2018 in Chicago. I cornered Dave Filoni. And I said, so I hear about this show, Mandalorian. And my character's not dead. So, how good of friends are we? He said it was already in the works, but I like to think that I had some sway. And so that was what, came to fruition in Chicago. However, I didn't believe anything was actually going to happen. And I got a phone call that Jon Favreau wanted to sit down with me. So I looked at my husband and I was like, what? What? Who? Oh my God, okay. So I go in and I'm sitting there. It takes me, it takes me 20 minutes to figure out that my face is already on the wall as this character. It took me so long to realize that he was asking me if I wanted to be in the show. And I remember almost diving over the table, being like, are you kidding? I think an expletive came out of my mouth.
Of course.
I was like, of course I'll do it. Are you crazy?
So what was it like bringing a character that you originated in animation to life? I mean, did it change your performance for Bo-Katan at all, or?
It did, absolutely. I showed up on my first day when I finally put on my wardrobe. It was my makeup test.
Cool.
Dave was there. We might have shed a few tears. And it was just so strange to see her in live action. We spent so much time making sure that her freckles were right and that her scar was on her face and that she had her eyebrows just perfect, that I never stopped to ask how she actually moved. Because I'd been playing the character for so long, it never occurred to me that I haven't actually been playing the character. And so all of a sudden, like a couple days before we go to shoot, I'm having to question how to move my face as Bo-Katan, which I'd never thought of. And I felt so unprepared. But Bryce Dallas Howard held my hand all the way through it. Amazing, right? Amazing director.
Yeah.
She's so, if I could, I would follow that woman anywhere.
I mean, and that's just the strength of this show. I mean, everyone that is involved in it is really just such a huge fan, and they have such deep love for the character. I'm sure it's just kind of like, once you got out there, it was like, oh, this is the most natural thing in the world for me.
You think so, huh?
It seems like it.
I think that I know her backstory at this point. I know it very well. And she does sort of feel like a piece of me at this point. Although I do feel like I do have to fight Dave Filoni's wife for it. Because she is based off of her. So.
Yes, Anne's here somewhere.
Anne is here. And I saw her scowl today, and it is definitely Bo-Katan's scowl.
It's so good,
Let's be honest.
It's really intimidating.
Is. Yeah.
I love her.
Yeah.
So what is it about Bo-Katan that you think has resonated so deeply with fans over the years?
First of all, I think that Bo is just a phenomenally cool character.
Yeah.
Right?
She really is, yeah.
Super cool. She's also deeply flawed. And I think that people have enjoyed watching her grow and change and evolve as a character, and she hasn't stayed stagnant. She's learning her lessons. She's figuring out the mistakes that she's made. She's potentially, she's paid the price for a lot of mistakes, and she's having to deal with that. And I think that fans can resonate with that sort of like growth and that guilt and that making mistakes and trying to atone.
Yeah, she's a very complex character.
Yeah.
Now, when you come out here to Celebration, this is like the best family reunion in the world, and you're no stranger to the convention circuit. What's so special about coming to this event for you?
This is so different. I've been coming to conventions now for, I'm so gonna age myself, but like 20 years. I remember my first convention for Battlestar, and I was not prepared. I was not prepared for the love that comes from sci-fi fans. And the love that comes from Star Wars fans is unlike anything else. So Yeah, it really is a family, and you guys just, welcomed this character, and I'm, so grateful.
What has been the most rewarding part for your personal Star Wars journey?
Oh my gosh. I think taking her and seeing her from the very beginning, it's very similar to why she resonates so well with the fans, is that I love the growth and the change of this character, the way that she's morphed. You're in for a lot of fun surprises.
Oh boy. I can't wait, guys. Season 3 of Mandalorian. Obviously, we are all very much looking forward to that. Thank you so much for stopping by, and thank you for your continuing work in Star Wars.
Absolutely.
We can't wait to see you in season 3.
Thank you, guys.
And you guys, stick around. There is so much more Star Wars Celebration live. She voices one of the most beloved characters in all of Star Wars, but that's not all our next guest does. She's also a powerful force in the fashion industry, as well as I gave it away! As well as an advocate for mental health and wellness of people of all ages. Please welcome the voice of Ahsoka Tano, my friend, Ashley.
Oh my gosh! Hello, everyone! This crowd is incredible!
Oh, this is the best.
Does it feel so good to be back at Star Wars Celebration?
It's so good to be back. Isn't it just like recharging your batteries?
Oh, I am like fully charged.
It's so good. It's so good to see you. Welcome back.
You as well.
So you've been busy. You're one of the busiest women in Star Wars. What have you been up to lately? You've been, doing her universe. You've been doing your mental health series.
Yes. Well, you know what? When Star Wars: The Clone Wars Season 7 came out, did you all like Season 7? It came out when we were all at home, which I think was actually the perfect time, because during a really dark time, Star Wars: The Clone Wars provided hope. It provided something new that we could look forward to every week in a very unpredictable time. So I'm very grateful it came out when it did, but being at home, I didn't get to go out and meet everyone and hear what you thought. So I've been doing a ton of conventions and a ton of, meet and greets and getting the chance to make up for lost time.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. Now, you've seen Ahsoka evolve over the years. What do you think the character has helped? Let me just start that again. Why do you think the character has helped, that you've helped bring to life, has resonated with so many fans for so many years now?
Well, I feel very blessed to have originated the role of Ahsoka Tano back in 2008, but she has come so far, and I think what has happened now is that Ahsoka lives in all of us. Yeah. She really does. Hi. She lives in our hearts and in our souls, and after almost 15 years of Ahsoka, it's literally almost 15 years, the ways that she's inspired us, the stories, they live with us. And I feel like we take Ahsoka and her inspiration and the hope that she gives us into our everyday lives. And so that's why I used to say Ahsoka lives, just because she lives, but now it's Ahsoka lives in all of us. And I think it's because, yes.
And we've talked so many times about, how Ahsoka has evolved over the years, how she grew up on the Clone Wars, how, her arc and her character grew, but now we're going to start seeing her in live action. Now, what is it like for you to see this character that you have helped create and grow over the years take this next step in their evolution?
It's incredible to see all of the Ahsoka love. It's absolutely surreal. And I see an Ahsoka out there, yes!
Yes!
I want you all to know that when you share a story with me, when you come up to my table over there, or we talk on social media, it's always a safe space. And I hear you, and I see you. And when you share your stories with me of how Ahsoka has changed your life, or in many cases, how she saved your life, that sticks with me. And I think about it, and I remember everyone's stories. And so to be here today, 15 years later, or almost 15 years later, and to see all of the Ahsoka love, and now Ahsoka is getting her own series, and to hear all of your stories, it's just surreal, and it's something I don't take lightly. You know, I might not be your live action Ahsoka, but I want to be your real life version of Ahsoka Tano. Thank you. And I promised I wouldn't get emotional, but I really, really care about each and every one of you.
It's so obvious, right?
And I thank you, and I'm just honored to be here 15 years later celebrating Ahsoka with all of you. Thank you.
Ashley.
Thank you.
And obviously, the love is very much mutual.
Thank you. Thank you.
So when we're talking about, Rosario coming on and helping to build onto this character and help her expand, was there any specific guidance or advice that you gave her about, being a good steward of this character?
You know what? That's a great question. Because I've never actually met Rosario.
Oh, snap.
We've never met, we've never spoken, but it's a dream of mine. And so I talk about throwing your dreams out into the universe, and it would be an absolute dream to meet her one day. It would be a dream to do a cameo in the Ahsoka series. It would be an absolute dream. Hopefully one day it'll happen, and I know it will, and I would love to meet Rosario. We're all part of Team Tano. We are one Team Tano, and I can't wait.
So you've also been writing a lot of books. Can you tell us about, your new books that have been coming out?
Yes. Well, you know what? I am so, so grateful for the platform that Star Wars has given me. And like you've now heard me blubber and cry up here, I don't take it lightly. I take it very seriously. And so I've had the chance to write a couple books now. One we're going to announce tomorrow. It's called Star Wars Every Day. And it comes out in October. It's a lifestyle book on how to live your best Star Wars life all year long. Thank you. And thank you very much. And one thing I'm very, very, very proud of, because it's a passion project that I've worked on for 5 years now. And so one lesson that Ahsoka's taught me is patience. Lots and lots of patience. But I launched a new video series called Star Wars Mindful Matters.
It's so good.
Thank
It's so
you.
good. Have you guys been watching?
Thank
Yes.
you. So they're just 2 to 3 minute short videos where I get to teach mindful lessons. And they're the mindful lessons that we learn from Star Wars. So it's our favorite, our favorite characters from Star Wars teach us these lessons, but I teach how you can do them too. So I share exercises, and they're clinically based mindfulness exercises, but they're on the Star Wars Kids YouTube channel and StarWarsKids.com, but I want to preface that they're for everyone. We put them on the kids page because we want parents to know that these videos are safe for kids to do, because our kids need to learn these lessons now more than ever. We've all been through a really rough 2 years, but so have our kids. And so they're on the Star Wars Kids YouTube channel and StarWarsKids.com, but they're for everyone, because Star Wars is for everyone, right? So Jedi Master Yoda teaches us that it's just as important to train our mind as it is to physically train our body. And so Star Wars Mindful Matters teaches us the mindful lessons that we learn from Star Wars. And please watch them, please share them. I think these lessons are more important now than ever.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's a really, really lovely series.
Thank you.
It's been really fun to watch. And we can't have you up here and not talk about her universe, because her universe has been such a game changer for so many young fans, and now it's such an established part of the fandom. I mean, how many young girls out there have come up wearing her universe? Yes. And now it's for everyone. So what's new, what's coming up for her universe?
Well, it started as her universe, and we also have our universe now because Star Wars is for everyone. But we got to launch a brand new collection today. It's called From the Archives. And it's because we got to go to the archives at Skywalker Ranch.
I am so jealous. I've been trying to get in there for years.
We got to see all of the original costumes from the original trilogy and the prequels, and we got to see them in person. We got to see them right up close, and in some cases, we got to touch them. The Lucasfilm Archives team just, showed us all the costumes up close. We got permission from George Lucas himself to do this collection. And so all of this collection, which the Her Universe booth is right there through the center, right to the right, and there's pieces for women and for men and unisex, but all of the collection, the entire collection, is inspired by the archives. So what I'm wearing is actually Princess Leia's vest that she wears on Endor in Star Wars Return of the Jedi. Yes, so these sleeves and this hood actually zips off, and we have an Endor pattern with Ewoks in it.
I
but
love
then
that
check out
binding.
this shirt that I'm wearing. This is Ahsoka on a Lothwolf. I don't even know if Dave knows that we made this shirt, but I don't know if he knows that this piece of art that he sketched is actually in the archives. So when you pull out the Clone Wars drawer in the archives, there's this sketch from Dave Filoni. So there's this unisex t-shirt up there, and we have so many pieces, and a lot of Padme pieces. We're showing a lot of love for Padme. She deserves some love. But we have a Boba Fett top, a Han Solo top, so many amazing things. This is a limited collection, so if you see something you like, go get it. It's called From the Archives, and it's available now.
I'm gonna come over and raid your booth. Well, thank you so much, Ashley, for coming up here. And
Andy,
thank you so
thank
much
you.
for everything that you've done for the Star Wars fandom, for the universe. It's just been, such a joy to get to know you over the years and to see the power that you have in this community. It's really, really incredible.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Ahsoka lives in all of us. Thank you.
All right, guys. And what I do now.
Think of the movies that really defined your childhood for you. Now think of the one name that has been attached to nearly all of them, including a couple of tiny low-budget productions like Star Wars and Indiana Jones, no big deal. Give it up for the president of Lucasfilm, Kathleen Kennedy. Kathleen, how are you?
Woo! I am really good. Boy, wasn't this morning fun?
Oh my goodness, so
Oh my
many
God.
wonderful things.
So good to be here with everybody in person again. It's kind of hard to believe.
Yeah, we were just talking backstage about how wonderful it is to be able to get all of these fans together in one place again after so long. It's just there's no energy like it, like having you all here in one room. It's wonderful. And so many big announcements this morning, so many big announcements as of late. There was the big Vanity Fair piece where so many things were talked about, and I just have to know, with all of these things that we know are coming, what are you the most excited for in the Lucasfilm slate for 2022?
I'm excited for so much that's going on. I think what you guys saw this morning is evidence of there's just such variety to what's going on and such exciting expansion that's happening in the galaxy far, far away. And the most important thing is we're bringing in people that are just having a blast being a part of this. So that's, I think, overall, I think that's what's been so inspiring. And I think there's nothing better than Star Wars to escape into right now when everybody is experiencing a lot of tough things happening in the world today.
Yeah.
So if Star Wars can give us a little bit of hope and optimism and something to escape into, I think that's something we all want to do.
Yeah. Yeah. And talking about the last few years, there's still been stuff coming out. You've been releasing The Mandalorian, you've been releasing Boba Fett. it's been a regular release. You've kept to that schedule, but over the last 2 years, that must have been challenging. How has it been making things over the last 2 years?
Well, I have to really give a shout out to our crews and everybody at Lucasfilm, because the resilience everyone's had trying to work around COVID. The amazing thing is, in these 3 years that we experienced COVID and shutdowns and just, a lot of challenges, we created 68 hours of television somehow in the middle of all of that. And it's a real testament to the people that we work with.
Yeah, and as you're expanding, and putting all of these new things into production, one of the things that I love about, some of the interviews you've done recently is talking about, keeping this expanding and thinking about like all of these new places to go. What's the main driving creative force throughout all this? Because as you're expanding, there has to be a creative through line for everything, right?
I think first of all, the thing that we really aspire to constantly is quality. That's something each and every filmmaker, storyteller who comes and works with us, and that I would say is across the board, whether we're creating games, publishing, or we're making television or working on our movies. And that's something I think is really important. We also talk a lot about what are the values that really distinguish Star Wars? What is it that everybody says, oh, that's Star Wars? And I think it is hope and optimism. I think an aspiration, those are the kind of stories that we're trying to tell. That's what we're trying to perpetuate. And I think that that's the gift that George Lucas gave us many years ago.
So you're talking about creating 68 hours of television, right? What are the opportunities that you have now working more in television than you ever have before versus working in film?
I think we can really do a deep dive with characters. We can also experiment. As you can see, there's a huge amount of variety to what we're doing. We can move through timelines, even though we want to make sure that these stories actually continue to inform what's come before, but also surprise us what happens further down the timeline. So that's what we aspire to. That's why I use this word now, persistency. It's kind of persistent storytelling.
Mm-hmm.
We're not necessarily trying to build trilogies and that kind of thing, because television has really opened the door for us to explore so many different kinds of stories and characters and do it in a really in-depth way, which is really fun.
Yeah, it's been wonderful just getting to live with these characters for much longer periods of time than we've ever gotten to before, Instead of getting to spend 2 hours every couple of years, we're spending 12, 13 hours at a time with these characters and just learning all about them. And it's been wonderful. It's been wonderful to be able to live in Star Wars a little bit more than we ever have. Yeah. I have to know, with all of these new characters that you have been introducing since the last celebration, who is your favorite and why is it Grogu?
It does have to be Grogu.
It has to be Grogu. It has to be Grogu. And I'm sure we're interviewing some people this weekend that are a little bummed that it's Grogu and not them. But it really is. The little guy has taken everybody's heart.
And it's amazing because it doesn't matter where you go in the world. He's stolen everybody's heart. And anytime he appears, like I'm sure you guys felt this when you saw the trailer that we showed this morning. I mean, he's just impossibly cute. I mean, come on.
Sometimes he drinks a little soup, Kathy. Have you seen when he drink a little soup?
Yep.
It's very good. It's very good.
I think it's the little tiny hairs on the top of his head,
Yeah.
especially when that gets backlit.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
He still has his little old man hairs.
Yes, he does.
They come in early for them. Oh my goodness. Well, I have to know, everything that that has been announced, everything that's going on for the rest of the weekend, is there anything that you want to tell the fans? Is there anything they need to know that they haven't already seen?
I think Andor, yeah. I gotta say, that show is awesome. I mean, you have no idea what's coming until you see that. You're gonna be really, really excited. But, I don't want to single anything out, because everything we talked about today, I think you're gonna find each and every show and all the new characters we're introducing are just fantastic. So I couldn't be more excited. I couldn't be more excited than to see your reaction to these new shows. So can't wait.
Oh,
and
my
can't wait
goodness.
for tonight.
Yeah.
That's going to be great.
Oh my goodness. It's gonna be a party tonight, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh man. Where are we all watching? Where are we all? Kathy, give everybody your room number. Where are we all watching? It is
Very funny, Anthony.
It is always a pleasure being able to talk to you, Kathy. Thank you so much for stopping by.
Thank you, everybody. And this is so much fun. Continue to have a good time.
We got more
Thank you.
Star Wars Celebration Live presented by Geico in just a minute. No. You win. You win. No, you win. You win. Hands in your
Yes.
pockets, buddy.
Sorry, let's get on. We'll carry on.
How does it feel to be coming back to these characters after 20 years? I mean, obviously everybody's into it. How are you feeling?
It's so exciting. It's been such a long journey from, you know, the last film that we shot together was in 2003 in Sydney, Australia. And we finished that film, and for sure, personally, I felt like I was so happy to have been part of the Star Wars world, but we did those 3 movies, and I didn't imagine that we would be sitting here today. But it's been a long journey coming to make this series, and probably 4 or 5 years, I think. And so tonight, you know, we're going to be able to show it to you at last. And then it becomes yours, and that's makes us feel really, really great, you know.
It's wonderful. Hayden, you know, I heard that you prepared for sort of coming back to this by watching Clone Wars and Rebels, and were there some things that you sort of saw in those that you wanted to like bring to Anakin as you were coming back?
First of all, thank you for all of this. This is incredible.
See, I see what it is. He was just waiting for you to get yours out, and then he can start.
But I just did as much research as I could and just wanted to refamiliarize myself as much as I could, and I loved what they did with those animated series. Yeah, I mean, Dave Filoni and everyone that worked on those shows did some incredible work, and you know, they did a lot more with these characters, and that was fascinating to get to watch. How that affected my performance, I'm not really sure, but I'm very glad I got to watch them, and I'm a fan now too.
And I mean, above and beyond the work that you were talking about that it took to kind of bring this to life and everything, how did it feel for the two of you to just be working together on this again and being these characters again? Like, how did it feel when the two of you just like, oh, we're here, we're doing it together?
Amazing. It was the coolest thing to get to come back and work with Ewan again and play these characters again. Has just been, yes, we are. It's a very special thing, and we get to do this because of all of you. So again, thank you.
And I mean, obviously, we're seeing a lot of fan love for the prequels, for these movies. You know, were you surprised to see the reaction to the prequels now as people have grown up and become adults and live with these movies versus how it was, 20 years ago?
Yeah, it's taken a while to sort of feel it, you know? I think when the films came out, there was no social media, there was no sort of direct link to the audience, and also the audience were young people. And over the last years, I sort of felt the warmth for the films that we made. And it's meant a lot to us. It's meant a lot to me personally to feel that. It was tricky. It was tricky at first with the... All right, mate, thank you. It's so definitely a part of the reason why we're here today, you know, why we decided to make this series, for sure.
You know, and now that you're diving back into these characters, I mean, obviously Anakin's gone through a few small changes since we last saw him, but you know we don't know much about what's been going on. You know, we talked about the animated series, but there's this whole period of Obi-Wan's life that is kind of, you know, we don't know much about. Yeah. What kind of changes? Because he was such a smiling, swashbuckling, you know, charming, kind of happy-go-lucky guy when we last saw him.
Yeah. Well, at the very end of, we all know what happens at the end of Revenge of the Sith.
Don't tell me I haven't seen it yet.
You know, I had to take Obi-Wan from there to bridge a gap between my last work as Obi-Wan and then Alec Guinness in A New Hope. And we just sort of brainstormed that. We thought about it. The film was going to be a movie at one point. It turned into a series. Deborah Chow became our director, thank God, because she's so good.
Yes.
She's so talented, and because she directed all of the episodes, it's got her singular vision throughout. And yeah, you'll see where he's at.
Okay. And Hayden, how about you? I mean, obviously you were playing Anakin, and now you're kind of playing Vader. And so, how are we seeing these changes happen?
What was the last of that question?
I said, and now we're seeing this transition into Vader. So what are we seeing from Anakin now? Or are we seeing Vader, or?
Well, that's what's... That's what makes this character so compelling. Is there is that duality that's present, and there is that sort of inner conflict of self-identity. But it's been such a thrill to get to come back and continue my journey with the character and to get to explore Darth Vader at this point in the timeline has been huge. I missed you guys too.
Well, we are just hours away from people being able to see this. Is there anything you want the fans to know, or any last thing you want to say to them before we get to see this series tonight?
This is where the fun begins.
Oh my goodness. Thank you so much for coming by. But I'm now being told it's time to say goodbye there to you two. So thank you, and may the force be with you. Ewan McGregor, Hayden Christensen, lots more from Star Wars Celebration.
What happens when two Inquisitors walk out onto a stage filled with an audience of Jedi cosplayers? We're about to find out from Obi-Wan. Give it up to Moses Ingram and Rupert Friend.
This is awesome.
Look at
Oh my God, this is crazy.
Wow. This is real life. Welcome you all.
I love you too.
This is your moment.
I love all of y'all.
It's so great. great to have both of you here. Thank you so much for joining us at Star Wars Celebration Live. Woo! Now, I'm going to start with you, Moses. Can you tell us a little bit about what your audition process was like for you, and what was it like for you to land a role of this caliber?
Yeah, it's crazy. So the first time I got it, it was called Untitled Disney Project. And so I didn't even know what it was for like the first 2 days. It was like one really intense week. And then the first time it was me and Carmen Cuba, the casting director. And then it was me, Carmen Cuba, and Deb. And then it was me, Carmen Cuba, Deb, and Ewan. And then we were in the studio. And then we had one final Zoom where I thought I was gonna audition again. And Deb was like, no, I was just calling to tell you you're gonna be Reva. So it was pretty crazy. Yeah.
Oh, can you tell us a little bit about your character?
Yeah, so my character's called the Grand Inquisitor.
Woo! Couple fans.
Yeah. And he's kind of one of the uber villains of the Star Wars universe. And this is the first time we're going to get to meet him in a live action show. So I'm excited.
Now, we've seen Inquisitors before in Star Wars Rebels and Jedi Fallen Order. Did you go back and watch any of those episodes as research?
Yeah.
Well, I actually didn't. I felt like I had so much freedom to make Reva who she wanted to be, you know, being her in live action for the first time. I mainly just focused on the prequels.
I don't know if you can tell by this dress, but we love the prequels over here. And what did you bring to your character that you hope connects with the fans?
Well, for me, I think everyone here would know this, but a lot of the kind of less super fans wouldn't, but the Grand Inquisitor used to be a Jedi. So to me, that's like super important for this.
I think that's a tough one. I think she aims to please in more ways than one. And yeah, I'm gonna leave it at that.
That feels like a spoiler, but not a spoiler. Now, what was your experience with Star Wars prior to landing this role? I'll start with you, Moses.
So prior to this, I knew like Vader and I knew Obi-Wan. And it's really hard to believe, but I had never seen the movies. And so it was really this experience that sort of opened up the door to Star Wars for me. And I actually prefer it this way because now it's attached to so many personal moments and memories, celebration, you know what I mean? So it's something that I'll certainly remember forever.
And for And for you, Rupert?
Yeah, we used to, you know, I'm quite a lot older than Moses, so we used to totally dress up as the characters and run around in the woods and pretend to be, you know. Thank you, brother.
Well, as they just said, welcome to the family, and it is so exciting to know that we are only a few hours from actually watching this happen.
Yeah. Great to be here.
Thank you both so much for sitting down with me and stopping by. We have lots more fun and exciting guests coming out here on stage, so don't go anywhere, y'all. Star Wars Celebration Live will be right.
Like many of us, he's been into the Star Wars since he was 6 years old. And now he's back as Cassian Andor in the new Disney Plus series Andor. And he's brought with him someone who's been acting in Star Wars since he was 26 years old. She's back to lead the rebellion once again as Mon Mothma. It's Diego Luna and Genevieve. Not a bad welcome. Not a bad welcome.
This is it.
Yeah, it's nuts, right?
Uy, gracias.
I think they're excited. I think they might be a little bit excited about Andor.
My God, now. Wow, she's.
Right?
Mira, está vestida. My God. Perfect outfit. Beautiful. She's dressed like
It's amazing.
a character. Look.
It's amazing. So Diego, what is it like coming back to the character of Cassian Andor?
Oh my God. I don't know if I can speak after this. I mean, it's first of all, I have to thank you so much. It's been such a special day for me, and I wish I could share this with the rest of the team and the cast and everyone. We've been working so hard these last years, and this energy that you've shared with us and this love means so much. So thank you very, very much.
Oh, it's
Sorry, you asked me something, but
we have to talk about Cassian Andor.
let's
That's
talk about Cassian Andor.
So what is it like coming back and revisiting this character?
It's amazing to be back, and also because I'm not back into the Cassian Andor you met on Rogue One. I'm telling you the story 5 years before, you know? And I'm telling you the story that answers all the questions that Rogue One didn't answer. For me, Rogue One it's a lot about the event, where the sacrifice they make, but you don't know exactly why and where they come from, and where that decision is coming from. So now we're gonna tell you that story. You know, you remember there was a line in Rogue One where the character says, "I've been in this fight since I was 6 years old," right? So now we're gonna meet that man, you know, the wounded man that couldn't have a childhood and he's been fighting since 6 years old.
Yeah.
We're gonna get to meet him in a moment where he doesn't feel capable of what he actually ends up doing, you know? He doesn't feel that he has that inside. So it's about that awakening, and I am very excited because it would have been terrible to come back and do the same character, but this is not the same character.
Yeah.
And it reminds us that we're all capable of transforming, and we're all capable of doing extraordinary things, you know?
So how have the changes in Cassian and how he is different in this series versus the movie changed how you approached, you know, your job in portraying this character?
Well, I mean, when we did the film, I had to answer many of these questions that, you know, the script didn't answer, nor the film, and nobody actually cares about that stuff. But that's the stuff you work on, you know? You have to know where you're coming from when you go on set and pretend something's happening. So I did answer those questions when I shot the film, and then you know, Lucasfilm was interested in telling that story. And I don't know, it's very different, you know? It's someone that is very, like, wounded in a process where he can barely see further than this, you know? And he's surviving. But I can't tell you much because I will ruin the experience.
We won't tell anyone, don't worry.
You won't tell anyone?
No, it's fine. Just between us.
Can I just be honest and tell you the whole story? No. Gladly, I'm not drunk, so it's not gonna happen.
Now, Genevieve, you've been, you know, part of the Star Wars galaxy since, yes. you've been part of the Star Wars galaxy since you brought Mon Mothma to Episode 3, and now again, and then again in Rogue One. What's it like for you to be able to go deeper into this character again in a series like Andor?
Yeah, it's such a gift. It's so extraordinary. A little bit like Diego, I think what's amazing is that Lucasfilm and our creators have created space to tell her story a bit.
Yeah.
You know, it's great. We know where she ends up. We know where she is in Rogue One. For those, some people will have seen those deleted scenes that I did like nearly 20 years ago at some point. So I feel like all that information that I know I was able to bring here, and I think this piece for Mon Mothma, and well, for all of us actually, 12 episodes allows us to really engage with character, to really discover history, to discover who these people are, and to engage with their fight. Hers is a diplomatic fight, but it's still a fight.
Yeah, she's in a very different place, than as when we've seen her. So how would you say Mon Mothma is different this time around compared to other times that we've seen her?
Well, we know in Rogue One that she's one of the leaders of the rebellion.
Powerful lady.
We start with her in Andor, steeped in empire. She is a member of the Galactic Senate, as you all know, and so she begins this story in a political society, trying to collaborate with people to engage in opposition to this ever-looming autocracy that is the Empire, that is Palpatine. She's trying her hardest. Obviously she fails, but maybe that's interesting to watch.
So now that you guys are both, back in the mix, I have to ask, what has been the most rewarding part for you of being part of this Star Wars experience?
It's difficult to mention one because there's a lot. The first was to be back into this family, getting to work with these amazing people, and exploring more with this team that I learned so much from. And then the expectation that your work can generate, that's something you normally don't feel. You normally go out there and try to get people's attention and hope they can, and beg for them to watch what you wanna, what you just did, to listen to the stories. And here is the opposite, the attention is there, the need for the stories is there. And it's quite special. It makes you feel like blessed, I would say that for me, the nicest part of this process is that I was invited from the beginning. As an actor, sometimes it's hard to being thrown there when everything is ready, when everything is decided and when camera is about to roll. And here I was invited to the whole process, and it gave me the beautiful chance to feel part of every decision, to understand every decision, get to meet with every part of the crew and the cast and the team, and this feels very, I feel I belong to this project, and the project belongs to me, and that's very special.
I'm gonna recover you.
I'm gonna have to go see the shrink after this. Can you imagine when I get home and my kids not even react to when I talk? They'll be like, shut up. I mean, and I'm like, but no, but I got a story to tell you. Shut up.
All of our Spanish-speaking fans are like going absolutely crazy right now. So you guys just want to take over? So So in 3 words, without spoiling anything, or else I guess I will probably get in trouble. What can fans expect from Andor?
3 words?
3 words.
12 episodes, 3 words? Ooh. Okay, I'm gonna go first, and then because we'll say the same words. I'm gonna say thriller. I'm gonna say adventure and revolution.
Sign me up. And before we go, is there anything else you guys want to say to the fans?
Sorry?
Is there anything else you guys want to say to the fans?
Oh, does he not have 3 words too?
Oh, yeah, no, 3 words. No pressure.
Ajá. See, that's what I'm gonna say first. I would say thriller, adventure, and darkness. You know, and may I say something else?
Yeah, please.
Muchísimas gracias a todos los que están aquí. Es muy especial, la verdad, sentir su cariño, la verdad, y a la gente que está escuchando esto en casa. Agradezco muchísimo su cariño y su compañía y espero este show les guste y espero sigan Andor y nos ayuden a que todo el mundo hable de él. Les mando un abrazo donde sea que estén viendo esto.
Well, guys, I know I'm very excited about this series, and we all can't wait to watch. Thank you so much, both of you, for coming and talking with us. And don't go anywhere, guys. There will be more Star Wars celebrations.
Laughs are meant to evoke feelings of joy and elation. But our next guest's laughter fills all of us with fright and dread. He's been a senator, an emperor, but I personally like to call him Sheev. He'll tell you about the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise, but then he'll electrocute you with his fingers. It's time to do it. Please welcome the Emperor of the Galaxy.
It's so it's so it's I was you're very kind. I just want to say to you all, good afternoon.
Yeah!
And it's so nice to see you again. I'm sorry you got up so early because I was going to say, I think you probably know the word, right.
Let me tell you.
You've got to hate me. You haven't got it right at all. Okay.
But I'll tell you what, I do a rewatch every time before we go to Celebration. I rewatch as much as I can, and I do love you, particularly in Revenge of the Sith. That you are having such a wonderful time in that film, and I can tell, and it makes me so happy.
Yeah, well, that's very nice. It was a great movie to do because it was the transformation, wasn't it, from the relatively nice guy, but not so nice guy, into the fully fledged monster.
Yes.
Yeah.
And talk. let's talk about that. How do you approach a character with duality like that? You know, Palpatine versus the Chancellor versus the Emperor.
It's a kind of gift in a way. You can start with a guy who looks fairly reasonable, just an ordinary politician. You know, you can be boring, because a lot of them are. And you can be just quietly hypocritical, which a lot of them are. And inside there is this great seething mass of evil about to explode. So that gives the whole part a kind of tension. The only thing is, of course, you knew I was going to get to the guy sooner or later. We didn't do it in sequence. But it also meant I was able to do it, because I was 50 then, and the Chancellor needed to be 50 so that he could get older. And it's a mad world that I'm in, and we're all in terms of ages, because I was 37 when I played 140, and then I was 50 when I played myself, and then a few years ago, I thought I was dead. And now, for at least the progress of filming, I was alive.
Yes.
It's very good. But there's only one thing. He'd still be here today if it wasn't for his ungrateful granddaughter.
You know, she never calls.
Never trust them. That's what I say.
She never calls. She never comes by.
She never does. She never did. You know. But she really wanted the job.
This was coming back and seeing you in Rise of Skywalker. The absolute menace. You're attached to this metal armature.
I was.
You are. The lights are strobing. You are seething more than you ever had. How did it feel to just dive deep into that?
Well, that armature, as you beautifully put it, I just thought of it as a kind of galactic wheelchair. You know, and when JJ said he was going to resurrect me, I was a little surprised. But then I thought, well, you know, this guy couldn't be dead because he's too clever. He would have a plan B. So if, on the unlikely event, he thought that someone was going to attempt to destroy him, he'd have people standing by. Lots of very efficient, rather small, but very efficient surgeons and doctors. And he'd have the machinery and the technology to get life back into him. So it seemed to me that it was a kind of logic that one day he would reappear. I just wished he'd managed to last a bit longer.
Yes, and I loved it. Were there any inspirations that you sort of took when you were crafting Palpatine and the Emperor? I always described it as very Shakespearean, very Falstaff, things like that.
Yeah, the whole arc of the movie is a Shakespearean. I mean, George, I think, is too shy to say that, but it is absolutely true. You know, it's, as far as Vader's concerned, it's the downfall of a good, tough, respectable, good-looking guy who just... he's gone home, so I'm not embarrassing him. Who just takes the wrong path. And why does he take the wrong path? Well, again, like another Shakespearean hero, Macbeth, he likes power. Yeah. He just does. And then he makes the mistake of not just liking it, and frankly, we all like a little bit of it. He learns to love it and to overlove himself. And that's, you know, that's the path to the dark side. The Emperor was different. He was evil when he came out of the womb, I'm convinced, you know. A solid block of evil.
Do you think he came out on the armature?
I think it's perfectly possible. Let's hope we never see it.
Well, Ian, I thank you so much for coming by. We appreciate it.
No,
you had your panel today.
Good to be here.
Is there anything that you would love to say to your legion of loyal subjects, Emperor?
Well, I just, it's so nice to see you again. I think what the Emperor would want to say is something evil and terrible and inappropriate. So I probably shouldn't echo that. But I just like, you would, honestly, you are terrible. You are all Siths in the making. But I would remind you finally that I am all the Sith.
Yes! Ian McDermott, thank you very much for stopping by. Thank you, everybody. That wasn't nearly as scary thought it would be. Stick around, we got more Star Wars